Hey, it's Ryan from upfitsupply.com, and in this video we're going to be installing some SecuriLock cargo van locks on our Ford Transit cargo van. Let's get started. Okay, this product is manufactured by Legend Fleet Solutions. They include some installation instructions in the form of a QR code that you're going to scan on the box. Make sure you reference that for the ultimate source of information. Of course, we're doing our best to follow that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is start on our side door, then we're going to move on to our rear doors. And the way that this attaches on our side door here is you're going to have your main locking mechanism attached to the door that moves. And then over here, you're going to have your hasp, and it's going to kind of mount in this area. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of prep the vehicle. We're going to clean this area right here where the lock's going to be attached. It's about 26 centimeters below this point right here on the van. So we're just going to clean this off, make sure no dirt, grime, grease, anything like that is going to get stuck under the lock. Next, we're just going to measure down here 26 centimeters or 260 millimeters, however you want to do that math. So we're going to make our mark. I'm just going to put a dot there. That's going to be the center point for our sticker or our drilling template that we're going to use. Next, we're going to take our sticker template. It looks like this. As you can see, there's kind of two sides. There's a line down the middle. That's going to be your center point. You're going to line that up with the edge of this gap right here. You're going to want the side of the sticker with 5 holes on it to be on the door, because that's where the main locking mechanism is going to be attached to. You always want that to be on the part of the door that's going to move first. So in this case, the sliding door. In that case, you're going to put it on the door that opens first. So this vertical line right here that you have, I want that to line up with the right side of this gap, because we do have some holes right here that are kind of close to that line. And then again, our 26 centimeter line, we want that lined up with the center of the sticker. Next, we're going to take a punch and mark the center locations for all of our holes here. And once you have clear indentations in all those marks, we can actually take this sticker off. Next, we're going to drill our holes. Now, if you happen to have a 9mm and 10mm drill bit, you can actually use those, and the manual calls for different sizes depending on the hole. If you just have, the SAE sizes, 3/8 of an inch will do just fine. And of course, whenever drilling into a vehicle, you want to make sure that you use a drill stop. This is just going to prevent you from drilling too deeply into the van and perhaps puncturing something you don't want to, and so on. So it's always recommended to use a drill stop. You can also use a smaller bit and then expand it out. Now on this side, on the fixed part of the van, there's actually some inner sheet metal in there that you also have to go through. Now you're going to want to deburr these holes when possible, then use the included paint pen to cover any of the raw metal. This is going to cut down on corrosion and any future rust issues. As you can see, this is one hole that I drilled with just a 3/8 inch bit with a drill stop on there, and you can see the drill stop took a lot of paint off right there. Whereas if you go with a smaller drill bit and then expand it with a step bit, you get a nice cleaner hole and you don't have all that paint coming off. Now while this is drying, we're actually going to go in and remove this lower door panel from the inside of the van. Now we have everything removed that we need to get access to what we need to, because we're going to have our emergency door release cable come up through here, and then we're going to mount it through a panel right here. If you're leaving this in, you can get away with just kind of removing these top push-in clips and reaching down here. Otherwise, you're going to have to use, looks like maybe a Torx bit or Phillips head, I can't tell at this angle, to remove this bottom part of the panel. Then you get access to it. Now we're going to be putting in a Duratherm door liner right here, so we're actually going to remove this as part of that process. So I'm going to remove the whole panel. But if you're not going to do that, you could just leave those in place and reach down this way. Next, we're going to fit our 2 M6 plus nuts to the top and lower right side holes. For this, I'm going to use a hand tool. They do make, there's an air tool, and there's also, a little hand tool that you can use with like an impact or something like that. I prefer to use a hand tool when I'm doing some of these, because I can feel how tight it's getting, because if you over tighten these too much, sometimes you can kind of mess up the threads or the angle of the threads and things like that can make it more challenging to install. So I like to do it by hand. So even if you do have one of those hand plus nut tools, use a socket wrench and a wrench to hold that steady and put that in by hand rather than going the impact route. Next, we're gonna take our plastic plate like this, and we're going to slide it onto the back of this lock. Take our emergency cable right here, put it through that center hole. Then your holes will line up right here. You're gonna have these 2 security bolts. These are pretty cool. They actually snap off as you're installing it, so it makes it impossible to remove this lock. So those kind of go in right there. Then we're gonna slide this emergency cable through our middle hole right here. And then those 2 bolts actually thread in right here. We're just gonna thread them loosely so we can still get everything lined up. We're gonna use these 2 Allen head bolts like this. This actually comes in from the back of the door and screws into the lock itself. To do this, we do need to open the door. Now the way that the hasp is attached is you actually have your hasp right here. This actually attaches to the back of that lock. This actually goes through a little plastic plate like this. Then you're gonna have your 2 kind of countersunk bolts. They're gonna go through here, and then you actually have to go inside the van to reach this back here, and it threads into this little plate like that. Now before we do this, we do wanna remove this little tab from this plastic clip. Now on the inside of the van, those 2 holes for this hasp are actually come in through here, and you can feel them just like right here. You can see, my wrist is right here. It's just up here a little bit, both of those holes. So the install instructions say you can use like double-sided tape and some type of fishing wire or something like that to hold it in place. I'm gonna try just doing it using my hands. If you're going into the small holes on this, there's big holes too. Going into the small holes that are threaded. Once you get one threaded, the second one's not too bad. All right, you just need to get those threaded on there a little bit, and then you can shut the door and tighten it up. Now before I get everything too tight, I like to get it kind of snug tight, so there's a little bit of play in here. Same thing with the hasp, but it's not gonna move around too easily. Then I just like to do a test. Make sure our hasp is lined up. Make sure this plastic shroud is nice and level. I'm gonna put the lock in a deadlock mode, which is spin it all the way to the right, pull the key out. All right, now I'm gonna tighten everything down. You can see I keep testing this kind of at every stage. I tested after I tightened down my hasp, after I tightened down these bolts from behind, and then the last ones are gonna be these ones. And I do all that testing is because once you tighten these up, they're designed to snap once you get to a certain torque. It's a security bolt, so once this is tightened all the way, you can't take these back out without drilling them out and getting basically a new lock. Just like to save this for last, and we'll break these off right now. All right, so this is just a 13 millimeter. Just tighten these off. You can see once you get to a certain torque, they break off. One thing I noticed as I tighten up this hasp, this shroud is a little crooked and wonky, so I'm gonna fix that. Go ahead and test this now. Put this back into slam lock mode. All the way to left, pull out. The way this works. All right, good. Last 2 steps here on the side doors. We're going to take our little plastic cover right here. It does orient to one specific direction, and then we're going to put our little Legend emblem right in there. Cover that up. We're gonna take our dust cap like this. We're gonna make sure that gravity's doing its work on this, that it's keeping it down. So this lower part faces down. Okay, I like to stick the key through here. Line up with our lock right there. Press that in. So that just about does it here for the side door. We're gonna move on to the rear door. There is one more thing that you should do, and that is attach your emergency release cable. Ours is just hanging loose right now. We're gonna do both of ours at the end. Now here on the back door, it's actually kind of a rinse and repeat. So our right door here, where our passenger door opens first, and so that's where the lock body is going to be attached, and then our hasp is going to be on the left door. So again, we're going to go through here. This is going to be about 12 centimeters up from this bottom molding. So we're just going to clean off this area where the lock's going to be. Again, 12 centimeters up. I'm actually going to give myself 2 dots here. Gives me a nice point so I can be level with this trim, if you will. Sometimes if you use a level and try and get these locks level, it can look kind of still wonky because the trim isn't necessarily level with the ground. So I got 2 points here that I can use to level my sticker here and get my drills hold exactly where I want them. Our sticker template here, again, we want our line in the middle, our vertical line lined up with the right door. Again, a drill punch or whatever punch you have. Take our sticker off. Again, with the drill stop, I'm gonna drill my holes. I'm gonna start smaller and then expand them with a step bit. Again, clean, deburr, and paint. Again, with our plus nuts and our top and bottom outward holes. Now you do need to remove this lower door panel. This is the passenger side, in case you're curious on where the little Christmas tree clips are and you're trying to pry yours out. Right here. And here they are for the driver's side. I can see this plastic backing right here. Pull some of this away because we are going to need access back here to get our emergency release cable through. Same type of deal here with our molding. We're going to take our 2 security bolts, slide those through. Going to route our emergency release cable through this open hole here. You do kind of want to guide this so that it does not interfere with your door latch mechanism. Again, just loosely attaching these. I don't want these too tight or they're going to snap off. Again, our 2 Allen bolts are going to come in from behind, thread directly into the lock. I didn't mention this for the side door, but there's a bolt pattern for this bolt that comes in from behind. It's just a single washer. Same type of deal with our molding. Back here we do want to cut off this little tab. We're going to go through molding like this with our 2 bolts. Great thing about this side is if you do have pretty good access back here. Now when you go to test this lock may already be engaged and it'll just bounce off like that, because the lock's already engaged. So there's 2 things you can do. You can just reach back here to our emergency release and pull it. That'll unlock it, or you can take a key and just turn to the right, pull it out. We are in slam lock mode, so we'll go ahead and unlock this all the way to the right, pull the key out. Finally, our security bolts here. Again, our little Legend sticker here, cover this up. Now a couple things here on your keys. You're gonna have a bag like this with your keys in it. There's gonna be a little card in there, and there's gonna be these little bubble stickers. You can go ahead and put these on your keys so you know what they belong to. And then also inside here, there is this card that says product warranty card. It's also gonna have a little sticker on the back with a barcode. You wanna hang on to this, throw it in the glove box or something like that, because if you need a replacement key or something like that, this will help them figure out which key coding you need for your particular van. And again, on our dust cap here, make sure gravity's doing its work here, pulling it down. Stick your key through there. Use your key to index it on the lock. There we go. Now that's everything we need to do on the exterior of the van. Let's move into assembling our emergency release cable. Now for the lock on the side door here, I'm actually gonna go through one of these holes that's used for push and clip on the door liner. I just need to expand this hole to about 1/2 inch so I can fit the little unlock release mechanism in there. And then if I wanna use that hole in the body too, I'm gonna have to expand that as well. Take my unlock mechanism here. There's a hole down here that matches as you slide this in to a hole opening in the black part. Just slip the ball in that hole and you thread the black portion onto the line. You want to get this tight, but you just want to test this a couple times. You don't want it to be threaded on too much where kind of the ball will slip off of the red from pulling that too much. So we'll get that in place. Slide this in here.